you think? Should we get going here? All right.
Let's do it. All right. Well, welcome everybody. Again, my name is Brian Dino, one of the digital coaches for Collabs 3 and 5 and the K8s. Hey, we want to find out who is in our meeting room here today. And since we have quite a few folks, I'm on slide 53. We're just going to go around. We're going to try to keep it to like 20 to 30 seconds since we have about 20 folks in the room. Just tell us your name, what school you're at, what you're teaching, and how do you start the year by getting to know the background knowledge of your students. So again, I'm on slide 53. Just if you could quickly tell us your name, school, pontoon area, and how you activate the background knowledge of your students.
Should we call people out to kind of help? What do you think?
I think so. So
we could bring up the attendee list and just kind of go down.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got somebody outside the district, a Genko 99. Do you want to kick us off?
Sure. It's actually my personal email. I've been trying to figure out how to switch into my DPS email, but it's not working. Can you hear me?
Yes, go right ahead.
So my name is Ashley Jenko. I work with Montbello High School. I am a science elective, so I teach Intro to Forensics and Intro to Medical Science.
Nice.
So I know I have a little bit more flexibility in my classroom, but I start my school year by really, we kind of write a poem about each other or about ourselves, and then we share it. And it's just kind of giving me a little bit about where they're from, what's important to them, what they like to learn, what are their hobbies. And like, it's kind of like a quirky poem, so they can kind of make it fit to however they want.
Awesome. Thank you for those ideas. That's great. Angie Collins.
I'm trying to get my thing. Hi.
Hi. We can hear you.
Don't know what's going on with my screen, but I do tons of things with my kids. So one of the things I'll probably do is I have them do lots of get to know you activities. But I got a big idea from the training this morning. And I made this sign that I'm going to ask them when they come in. I'm going to say, why are you here today? What is your why for being at school today? So I want to see what they say about that. And I'll model for them what my why is and give them some ideas, and then have them share with each other what their why is and write it down. And then I also do like a lot of like jigsaw activities where they talk to each other. They walk around and find different kids that have like the little bingos that who's been to a beach, who's done this, who's done that. And that gives me a lot of information as I'm just monitoring them. And I like to sit in circle time really often the first week or two just to get to know everybody.
Awesome. Thank you for those ideas, Angie. Let's try to limit the ideas to just one. We've got a lot of folks we'd like to hear from. So Carolyn, go ahead. Carolyn McKendry.
Hey, I'm Carolyn McKendry. I'm at Bromwell Elementary. This is my 8th year there as the technology, STEAM, and STR. And every year I usually start off by asking them the question, what did you create this summer? And so oftentimes I might let them make a digital presentation really fast, or we might just do like a little talk around. So, but what did they create for the summer, and they share out.
Nice. Denise Mizrak. If I mispronounce the name, please my apologies in advance.
You're fine. You did a great job. My name is Denise Mizrak. I teach at East High School. I'm an English teacher, and I start off the year activating background knowledge by having them create placards on their desk that gives us all a little information about who they are and where they come from. And
Nice.
then I learn their names.
All right. Elizabeth Luthog.
Hi, I'm at Sandoval. It's a dual language Montessori, and I activate prior knowledge usually by referencing some of our creation stories and things like that about the universe, and different Montessori lessons that they have had. So we get into discussion.
Nice. JJ Clark.
Hey, everybody. I usually start my tech class by having them do a small little project so that they can write down on a sheet of paper all the questions they have about the software they're supposed to know. Teaching kids technology, I don't want to teach them all the same lesson because half of them know what I'm going to teach them. So they make their own questions, and I give them time in that week to solve those problems so they know how to do it.
Very nice. Jason Sandoval.
Hi. So I'm a science teacher at Denver South. I teach AP Physics and Astronomy, and so I usually do a combination of starting off with like just random scientific misconceptions. I put random things out there and see what they know about it, and then in astronomy we get into creation stories and kind of tie it into just the cultural aspect. I have everyone do a little presentation talking about their specific culture and their understanding of the stars. So
Sweet. Jen Lewick. We're talking about how do you kind of activate background knowledge of students at the beginning of the year?
Yeah. I teach technology at Marama Elementary, K through 5. We start the first week in all grades coming in, and we do a personal ID card. So they come in and they get reminded on how to log in. We use a Google drawing, and we design our personal business card. So they have to do a little typing. They have to remember their login information. We put in any critical sites that they might need, a password hint reminder, and then a picture so that it all ties together like a little business card.
Nice, thank you. How much are we gonna try to hear from everybody, or?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, all right, cool. Joshua Burke. And if you don't feel like sharing, you can just say pass as well. We're not trying to force anyone to do anything they don't want to here. So
I'm Joshua Burke. I teach at Coons Miller Creative Arts. I'm the STL and teach high school science. And at the start of the year, I like to have just a project that students can work on so that I can really let them show me what they know, like on the scientific method and other things like that, and gauge where to go from there.
nice, thank you. Kathy Lee.
Lee, thank you. Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, everybody. So I teach at Samuels Elementary, and I've been a primary literacy and math teacher for the past 10 years, but this will be my first year as a STEM teacher at our school. And in the past, I just like spending time outside of the classroom with students, like having lunch with them, really hanging out with the kids during recess. So it'll be new for me this year, getting to know all of the students in the entire school.
Good luck. Katie Halrun.
Hi, I'm Katie Hellrung. I'm at East High School and I teach English. And then I really try and survey the students and get to know both their backgrounds and experiences and also what they know coming into the classroom. So I'm not, reteaching things they already have. I mostly have juniors and seniors, AP Lit and creative writing. So it's always nice to know what they already have been taught.
Nice. Kenneth B.
Yeah, thank you. The name is Kenneth Boachi. So I'm just joining Robert F. Smith High School this year, and I will be doing grade 9 math and for how to activate student background knowledge. For me, what I'll be doing this year is ask students to write what math topics or concepts or skills that they learned in the 8th grade or in their middle school years, and I mean all those that they can remember, and then draw an emoji kind of to express their experiences in those learning. Thank you.
Thank you. Lindsay McNabb.
Hi, everybody. I am at Monroe, and I've decided that my title should just be miscellaneous. I am kind of the librarian. I am definitely the STR. I am going to be supporting with math intervention and science, and we're still kind of working everything out. So my content area has kind of changed a little bit over the years. So what I'm doing has changed, although I have worked with all of the kids in the school. But when I was just actually tech, I would have the kids create some kind of a digital project about themselves so that they could kind of put their own spin on it. And it also allowed me to assess their digital skills. With my unknown role, figure out once I know what I'm doing.
Thanks, Lindsay. Maddie Perun.
Hi, I'm Maddie Perrin. I work for Denver Online, and my content area is kind of STEM all around. It'll be my first year doing high school next semester, and I do STEM for all of the middle school. I do a lot with like video games. You know, it's an online school, so that's kind of how we get hands-on learning is programming, 3D modeling, things like that. So I usually try to go a little lighter with background knowledge and try to see like what video games they're into. We kind of talk about that, the things that they're experts in, kind of activating knowledge that way.
Nice. Matthew Carter.
Yes, hi, I'm Matt Carter. I am at Edison Elementary. I teach technology and library. Beginning of the year so I have a lot of little kids. So kindergarten comes in. I have pictures of different pieces of technology all over the room: iPads, cell phones, Chromebooks, Xboxes. And to get to know them, I just ask them what they might use to call grandma. And they'd stand up and walk and go stand next to it, and then ask them what they might use to go if they had free time. So to kind of just get to know them, what devices they have. There's no wrong answers, and helps me know where they're at.
Nice, thank you. Megan Vu.
Definitely going to steal that idea from Matthew. So my name's Megan. I work at Saban. I teach kindergarten, and I activate background knowledge in the beginning of the year by having students talk about like what tools they use and what they use them for. And then we talk about math tools and how we have certain ways we use those tools too.
Awesome, thank you. Meredith Harrison.
Hi, everyone. I'm Meredith. I teach third grade at Bradley International School. At the beginning of the year, I do a lot of like getting to know you activities, student and family questionnaires, because I find, you know, having parents and family members have a voice and a presence in the classroom helps build that sense of community. Thank you.
Thanks. Olivia Connor.
Hi, I'm Olivia. I work at DCIS in Baker, and I primarily teach high school science, but I do have a STEAM elective, which is always been middle school, and this year I'll teach our first high school STEAM. And then one thing that I plan to do this year is just have kind of like an inspiration wall with like the whiteboard or like a big poster paper, and just have students like write all the things that they are interested in, and then try to see like how many we can hit by the end of the year.
Nice. Samantha Kapner.
Hi, I'm Samantha. I teach fourth grade at Isabella Bird Community School, specifically math, science, and social studies. And specifically within math, I start the school year by just giving a lot of kind of general images and seeing what patterns kids notice and kind of how they make sense of all those quantities.
Awesome. Susie Ramsey.
Hi, I'm Susie Ramsey. I'm the teacher librarian here at McMean Elementary. And what I've done is kind of an all about me, either Google Slide or Canva project with the kids. With the younger kids, I'll do a would you rather game where they have to get up and move. Would you rather eat pizza or ice cream, or some just fun questions like that. And then a Google form kind of inventory question with the older kids, the fifth graders. And it's kind of fun just to see what they have to say.
Great ideas, thank you. Todd Madison.
I teach books and movies at East High School, and something I sometimes do is have the kids, when they meet, interview each other, and then they each write the other person's, ghostwrite the other person's autobiography, so they get to know each other too.
Great. Tracy Kress.
Hi there. My name is Tracy. I work at Bradley. I teach 5th grade. And I start the school year off by having the kids do an All About Me mask that they decorate.
Nice. And Val Petrov.
I'm a STEAM teacher at Palmer Elementary School. This is my 2nd year there, which helps because I already know at least half of the kids. What we usually do with all the grades, like 3rd, 4th, 5th, I divide them in groups and they talk to each other. And I'm just facilitating and listening, and it's very interesting, and you can hear a lot of cool things. And after that, this conversation turns to a digital project, which we can use any kind of digital media to create some kind of a presentation regarding their selves. And with younger kids, it's a little bit more difficult because of the limitation of the time. And I usually collaborate with the classroom teacher. So we do some activities together so we can, get to know our kids and they get to know each other.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone, for all your fantastic ideas. All right. So this next slide is about the culturally and linguistically sustaining Tier 1 components in the district. Hopefully you've heard about these. Just kind of highlighting which of those our session particularly impacts, which is about the transformative learning environment and the affirming and meaningful context. Again, activating students' background knowledge and having their voice in the classroom definitely impacts those areas greatly in your classroom.
All right. Our CRE mindset focus for this today is we're going to focus on global context and my responsibility, because it's your job as the teacher to kind of create that environment for your students.
This slide is another connection slide to some of the DPS district priorities. We've sort of highlighted here under engagement with grade level texts and tasks. During this session, we'll kind of hit on some ways to strengthen students shouldering the cognitive lift and implementing research-based culturally and linguistically responsive practices.
And what you'll see today ties into some of the common lesson planning practices you might have seen. And a key part of that is tapping into your students' knowledge and their equity and cultural competence. We're going to play just 90 seconds of this video here just to remind you about the culturally responsive connection as you start building those relationships with your kids. This is the link is there if you want to look at the full video later, but we're just going to play the first 90 seconds here, and you'll see an example of a school of how they start tapping into the knowledge their kids bring to the classroom.
Adelante, umbral de español, busquen su nombre con su palito, muchas gracias.
There are no blank slates walking into the classroom. Culturally responsive teaching is capitalizing on all that students bring with them from their personal lives and their home lives. And it's really knowing that student, knowing where he or she is from, and using that to craft the most meaningful and rigorous learning opportunities. Here at Amigos, the bilingual school in Cambridge, Massachusetts, we are focused on culturally responsive, joyful education.
To borrow Zaretta Hammond's word, culturally responsive practice really is like widening our aperture as adult educators to consider a broader perspective on what strategies can then match with our students' needs if we really want to see more equitable outcomes for our students.
One of the things that we're doing to support that work and our growth as educators are learning walks. learning walks allow teachers to visit each other's classrooms to see how they are implementing new strategies. We are looking for evidence of equitable student participation, and we're looking to make sure that primarily there's a relationship there, because in order to teach that child, you need to know that child.
Okay, so again, a reminder, in order to teach that child or teach that student, you must know that child. And we already heard at the start in our wraparound, there were a lot of good strategies already being used. So thanks for sharing some of those strategies. We're going to give you 3 here on this next slide as part of this breakout session. 3 strategies for tapping into and activating the background knowledge of your students. One is a dialogue journal, which is can be a non-digital way of doing it. We're going to cover Flip, which is a short video introduction exercise you can do with your students. And then we also, for the third piece, we're going to cover the DPS databases and library resources that you might connect with your kids' passions and background knowledge. So those are the 3 tools we're going to cover. If you have not been with us before, this is how this is going to work. You have 2 options to think about now. One, if you haven't seen any of those tools, if you don't know what a dialogue journal is, or if you haven't seen Flip, the video sharing platform, or if you want to know more about the DPS databases and libraries, stay with us. We will guide you through each one of those, and it'll be a demonstration. That's option 1. Follow along with us. Or you can do option 2. I know we've got a lot of experienced teachers in the room. So if you want to explore these on your own, you may. The only thing we ask is that you do one of the 3 things. You create something. You either create an example of a dialogue journal, you create a Flip for your students you're going to use, or you find a resource from the DPS library resources for an upcoming lesson. You do one of those 3 things on your own, and then when we come back here in about 30 minutes, just be prepared just to share it out with the group here. So we give you 15 seconds to decide which option you want. If you want option 1, stay in the room. You could all stay in the room, but option 1, we're going to demo this right on the screen. If you want to do option 2, you're welcome to just work on your own and then come back at 2:05 into this meeting room we're in right now, into this Google Meet.
For option 2, for the 3rd bullet point, where would they find? There's a slide with
There's a whole bunch of links. There are lots of slides with links. There's the first one that says DPS resources. I can't remember which number it is. It is. Slide 70 has all of the links for you.
Okay, so if you're choosing to work independently and are digging into the DPS databases, check out slide 70, and there's links to all the different resource libraries that we have there.
All right, we're going to start. So strategy 1, just a reminder for the start of the year, those non-contingent interactions are really going to help you build those relationships. By non-contingent, meaning that the student doesn't need to do anything for you to reinforce them. I heard at the wraparound, somebody goes out to recess to get to know their kids. The poem, somebody asks, what did you create this summer? So again, these non-contingent interactions are going to help you get to know your kids. So one strategy you might want to use is a dialogue journal, and you can do this as simple as a Google Doc, or if you're in the K-8 setting, some teachers want their kids to write without a screen. So you can have them do this on paper and put them in a journal that they actually you have in your classroom here. And you can ask questions. There's a couple, if you click on example here, here's one example of a teacher, the template that she provides for her students at the start of the year. What's your favorite part of summer? And of course, you can gauge this, adjust this for your grade level of your kids. They can paste in pictures if they're young. If they're older, you can ask different questions. And so it's a really easy tech, easy entryway to start collecting what your students are interested in. There's a couple of the resources there you can explore on your own about the value of dialogue journals. One value of them is, again, it shifts the power. Kids get to, as you respond to what they write, they get to see you as people. If you want to develop the writing in your kids, you get kids writing off the bat. And also you get to see, depending on the questions you ask and the answers you get to see what your kids are bringing into the classroom. And of course, it starts building those relationships. So it's a quick review of dialogue journals. And again, there were also some great tips of questions that I heard in the whip around at the start.
All right. Now we're going to go over Flip. It was formerly known as Flipgrid. You might know it as that. It's just called Flip now. Microsoft bought it a few years ago and shortened the name. And we're going to do a quick demo of that. But basically, it's just a really simple platform that's education and teacher friendly. Teachers can set up groups and topics, and the way that students respond, they go into the platform and they actually record quick videos of themselves. I think it's still a 90-second kind of limit on how long the videos can be. So students really, they can't ramble on too long. They have to be concise, think about what they're saying. But with the prevalence and how engaged students are by video, leveraging that for students to respond and to share their voice, who they are, their ideas, really is a powerful platform. Many students, emerging writers, etc., struggle getting their thoughts from their head down to paper or even typing on a keyboard. Video is a much more fluent medium for some students to be able to express themselves. And you can use it for lots of different things, and we'll explore some of those. On this slide, the last bullet is calling out what they call the Discovery Library. Lots of ideas submitted by other educators in terms of how they use Flip, the kind of prompts they use to give you lots of ideas. We'll just take a quick view of that Discovery Library. This is the Discovery Library in Flip. So you can search for topics. They have popular topics there, making predictions. They have a topic of the day. They have a tie-in to Wonderopolis. If you've heard of that resource, it's a great resource for kind of just general wonderings, which are very kid-friendly. You can browse by subjects in this Discovery Library of Flip. You can look for certain people that you might want to follow who always have really creative ways to use Flip. And they often have featured collections. Here's a back-to-school collection. So you could check that out. And right off the bat, there's lots of ideas that you can just grab one of these and send it out via Flip. And I'll show you how to do that. Again, you don't really need to do it on your own. You can start with these, tweak them, and go ahead and do a Flip with your students. So I just want to make sure you were aware of that Discovery Library in Flip. So when you log into Flip, this is kind of what it looks like. So you want to be logging in, and your students as well, with your DPS Google accounts. And it's a pretty simple interface. So over on the left, you can make what are called groups. You can think of this as your homeroom classroom, periods, or even discrete projects. Let's say you break your class into 5 different, research groups. They could be groups that you send or have students submit videos through. So you have groups on the left, and then within each group, here's my Teal Day demo group. You can make what's called topics. And these, you can think of topics as the question you're posing, the discussion you want students to respond to. You could even have them use their Chromebooks to record a process in science. It's like, show me how you set up this lab today. Boom, 90 seconds. You've got a video of each student talking you through how they actually set up a science lab instead of trying to capture it in some other way. So you could use a group and have many different kind of topics or video threads that students would use to submit to you. Let's go ahead and try one of those if you're game. I've got a thread here called Get to Know Me, and this is one I found in the Discovery Library. Again, this is kind of geared more towards probably elementary, middle school. So this would be what the students would see. I'm going to give you this join code up here in a second. You can put instructions like this on the prompt so students know what they're supposed to be adding to their videos. You can make it more open-ended. So if you would, you want to go, let me get the right link here. And on our deck, it kind of talks about the different parts of the thing there. Oh, real quick. So on the teacher side, once students record their videos, this is what you see as the teacher. They come in this nice little kind of grid, and you can quickly click on each one, respond to it, give students feedback. It's entirely up to you as the teacher how private or open this is. You can have this only be between you and the student, so students don't have to worry about, am I sharing this with the whole class? You can start it off just like, nope, it's just between you and me. And then as you build that trust in your classroom, you can open up these boards so students can see each other. That's very engaging. You could even allow students to give each other feedback if you want to, but that's entirely under your control as the teacher. So if you would, if you're game, you can even do this on your phone if you want. I know we've got a lot of tabs going here on your devices, but if you go to flip.com/ this code here, it's a little convoluted, number 8A, number 6CC16E, you should get to this Get to Know Me activity inside Flip. You'll need to sign in with your DPS Google account, and you just hit record, and you're recording. It's really simple. You could just talk about how you might use Flip if you want to respond to the actual prompt there on the left, talk about hobbies, which you're looking forward to this year, just to get a sense of how Flip works, how easy it is for students. I believe there's an option, once you've stopped recording, you can delete it, try again. So it can really lower the risk for students to get their thoughts out there. Once you're happy with it, you submit it. And then I'll show you on my end what I'm seeing in terms of the teacher. There's lots of fun stuff in Flip in terms of filters, stickers, emojis that students can add. You might want to introduce those gradually so they don't actually distract from the thoughts that you're trying to collect there. So hopefully folks are doing that. I'm going to go back to my dashboard, in Flip. And let's see. Don't have any responses yet. Hopefully some of you have tried this. If not, so this is where the responses down here below the actual topic prompt would be coming in for me. So as students submit their responses, I would start seeing them show up here at the bottom of this prompt. So I know it was a lot to ask. I didn't know who might be game there. If you're still recording, go ahead. Go ahead and hit submit. I forget exactly what that looks like on your end as a student, but it should be pretty obvious to end the recording and submit it. Yeah. Let me do a quick refresh here, see if anything's coming in.
We have to wait for you to stop talking so we can record. I'm ready.
Heard, Jeff, heard. All right, we got one from Brian there. You can also mute your device if you're tired of hearing my voice. Anyway, so they do come in here at the bottom. And Flip has a ton of free PD for teachers. It really is an education geared platform, which is nice. So you can get a private PD if you want to learn more about it. We're just scratching the surface here today. But that is Flip. Again, if you see on Brian's response down here, it says hidden because I chose this to be private. So me and he are the only ones who know about this video and can watch it. But I could play it right now. I could hit the 3 dots here and give him some feedback. I can do lots of different things with this little video that he submitted. pin it, share it, do some different things there. But that is Flip. And let me just make sure I end giving you some resources here. So we made a Flip all-in-one guide. Tons of great resources here to get you started, the basics of it, how to do recording and feedback, different ways to use it. The Flip community has fantastic playlists of webinars and tutorials. So I would urge you to try this out. Again, if kids find it super engaging. And it's also, in addition to activating that background knowledge and building that classroom community like we're talking about here, it's fantastic practice for like access testing and MLE students to be able to practice the oral language and getting feedback on that from you. Anyone out there use Flip or have used it that have some good benefits from that? Let's see, got a few comments here. Nice. Okay. Jen, did you want to share how you've used it?
No, but I was just raising my hand.
Okay, gotcha. All right, perfect. Thank you.
Flip is fun to give instructions because there's lots of lenses that you can put in, and especially little kids, they like the cartoons and the anime, and
nice.
They actually pay attention.
So you make video of yourself, add in those fun things as instructions for the students.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
They're differentiated instructions for the kids who don't read that well.
Nice. Anyone else just want to jump off of mute if you've used it and have anything to add about Flip?
Yeah, I was just randomly going back. Apparently I have used it. So also there, it's great. I have
Nice.
old videos I created a virtual field day for kids back in COVID, and a bunch of videos of them doing weird field day activities. Kind of funny to watch them. A long time ago.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, definitely. It's definitely something to get into. They have tons of features. They have a new thing where you can actually create QR codes. So maybe you have like a school art gallery. You could have students create Flip videos talking about how they created their art piece, add that QR code onto the actual piece of art hanging in the wall. And when parents go by, they scan that and they actually get to hear the video of the student talking about what they did to create that artwork or anything. So that's kind of a neat application of it too. All right.
All right, there is a lot of information here. Don't panic. Just a reminder, I'm Chelsea, Library Services Coordinator for the district. I'm one of 3. So if you have questions, feel free to ask. There are a lot of databases and library resources available to all staff and all students 24/7. GTF is one of the few districts that pays for all of these educational resources. It is ad-free and distraction-free, safe searching for your students. So they don't need to be jumping on Google. They don't need to be jumping on YouTube. There's video content, there's photo content, there's articles, there's everything. So there is a slide for each one of these things. So this is kind of the overview. I'll kind of jump through it with you. I just looked at the stats here. We have almost 41,000 different titles in ebook format and almost 6,500 titles in audiobook format. You, staff, can also use these and check them out. We buy content for elementary through adult. If you are waiting in line and you're number 47 on the list at Denver Public Library, go check the Sora app and you may just jump to number 2 or number 1 even. We have the Gale Suite. It is updated daily. So all the information about what's happening in Hawaii with the wildfires and your kids want to do research about that, it is up to date as of this morning. Content is translated into 37 different languages via Google Translate. So it's accessible to everyone. We have the Britannica in multiple different grade levels in English and native Spanish. PebbleGo is also in English and native Spanish. mostly geared to elementary students, but that doesn't mean that you can't use that at a higher level. We have some foreign language teachers that are going to use that to help give like high school Spanish students content in Spanish at a reading level that's appropriate when you're learning Spanish level 1. Culturegrams is great for information about states, countries, regions. And then the entire district has access to Discovery Ed as well, which is a lot of STEAM topics, but there's tons of cool stuff in there. So I'm going to give you a very, very small, brief overview. Feel free to explore on your own. Sora, if you've used Libby on the public library side, this is the educational side. The only difference really is that we monitor content level access for grade levels. We have lots of different collections. A lot of them are hand curated by us. Some of them are kind of put together by language. We have multiple languages in. So this is just like the top part of the screenshot. You can scroll down and down and down and down on the Sora page. So we have titles in Urdu, we have titles in Vietnamese, we have a very large Spanish collection. We have titles in Russian, we have titles in Chinese. So if you're looking for that different languages for your students, it's available here in their native language to honor who they are.
Chelsea, at the top, I see magazines. What's that?
We do have magazines. We subscribe to a magazine service through Sora. So if you're looking for a car magazine, we have it. We do get the Rolling Stone magazine. We do get
Tons of kids titles, right?
kids titles.
Popular science for kids and stuff.
Yep, there's National Geographic for kids in there. So jump in there and find out. You can search at the top, not this little, this is just a screenshot, but you can filter by grade level band of juvenile, young adult, or adult. If you're only looking for kids stuff, filter by juveniles. If your kid's in elementary school, they're only going to be able to access juvenile content. I gave you a standard here to kind of just like focus on if you're looking for this and you're starting to talk about geography. Here's how you could give some quick background knowledge about what geography would be. So and this is what the results would look like in different databases. So this is some results from Britannica. It's very kid friendly. There's buttons to click on. You can change the font size. You can have it read it to you. You can dig in with different articles and things over on the little icons on the side. There's the map. You go to the next page. This is what it looks like if you search in Gale. So each one's a little bit different. You'll notice that blue lion head up on the top. That is a link to the Library Lion homepage. Each of your schools will have their own where you can quickly access all of these databases. Your students can also access them. If you are in a DPS building, it automatically signs you in. If you are at home, you just use your DPS single sign-on, and students can access this at home. You can access this at home. The next page is at Pebble Go. So this is what it looks like if you're trying to search Colorado geography at Pebble Go. If you need that content in Spanish, there's that Espanol button right there at the top. You just click it and it translates everything. Culturegrams is great because we do not buy a whole lot of culture books and state books for the libraries anymore because they get outdated so fast. Populations change, borders change, all of that, but Culturegrams is up to date. They even provide recipes for you. You can get it in a PDF report. You can get the maps. There's different articles that you can read about on there. It's a really great resource that's accessible for all grade levels. Discovery Ed, you can access through Clever or Schoology. There are tons of different channels that you can customize based on what you like to access and what you need for your students. there are activities that are already ready to go. This is really great for lesson planning, for your sub plans. You're like, oh man, I'm not going to be there. I need to have something quick. Kids can explore this on their own. Maybe they really love basketball stuff. There was a whole bunch of content added about science and basketball right after the Nuggets one. Maybe they're really into Shakespeare. Maybe they're really into, like, they want to learn more about women in STEM. There's a lot of content on there about that. So you can dig in some more for you. Students can dig in some more for them. If you're needing more content in your classroom for one of your units, our library services department will put together a book basket for you. You can search it on the Destiny Discover, email the ETLS Classroom Library. You can get books in English and Spanish. They're primarily elementary geared, but we can go up kind of middle schoolish depending on the topic. If you have questions, you can just email that.
And these book baskets are, you know, you would sort of send the topic over, but we can also arrange for the book basket to get delivered to your school. So that's really helpful if you plan ahead for a lesson.
And then you have it for 30 days, and then we'll come get it when you're done. Makerspace kits are also really awesome to help your students kind of dig in and get some information and some fun tools on things that they might not be exposed to all the time at home. These are, the website is linked there at the top. There's some low-tech things like story cubes and question cards that you can use. And there's some really high-tech things like circuits and Ozobots. And we just bought a Cricut Maker so that you could check that out and cut stuff out for your bulletin board.
We have microbits and lots of robotics, stuff for paper circuits. There's a whole variety of things. So I encourage you to check out the website.
Tons of things.
Yeah.
And that may draw an interest out from a student that you may never have known. You can request, if we don't have a book in Sora and you're like, man, I really think we should have that, you can request it on the Library Lion homepage. If you've got students who are struggling and they're like, man, I don't know what to read next, I don't like reading, send them to this page and click on the Go on a Blind Date with Sora. And the collection development team they fill out a couple questions and we will send them back 2 or 3 suggestions. Hey, try this. See if you like this. We can do ebook, audiobook. We can send Spanish suggestions. We can, whatever they're needed, we'll send them back something. Usually we can nail down something that they'll like.
Yeah, one quick addition for the Makerspace kits. There's lots of games that we have in Makerspace, and games are often a good way to get to know your students, like who's triggered by what, who's really competitive. There's also lots of SEL things like mindfulness kits, yoga mats for littles. You know, just a lot of, there's a wide variety. So just wanted to mention that.
They're also great for stations in your classroom too, so you can have them rotate through. And this kind of links everything together. So if you're having trouble getting on Discovery Ed, here's some tips and tricks for how to use it. Some Sora basics, information on all the databases. If you're needing to teach information literacy, here's some ideas for you. The Makerspace kit link, book basket link. If you're needing to do a class set, say you're doing a novel study and you need 30 books for like 2 months in Sora, we can get that turned on for you. If you need a different title in Sora, just a one-off title, there's the request link there. If you have other questions about the library, email the help desk or you can call the helpline at any time.
All right, so our independent learners should be returning soon to us here. And we'll do a final share out, whip around.
While we're waiting for the folks to come back, I can't stress enough, especially for those of you teaching K through 10, stressing the library reference and resources we have here, because in supporting those K through 10 students, K through 12 too, but K through 10, when you send somebody out to YouTube, especially the younger kids, I hear it from all the teachers. As soon as I send them to YouTube, the distractions, the ads, it's just so much for our kids, and they get distracted. So use these as much as you can, because they are ad free. They don't have even if you remove the ads from YouTube with those techniques, they still have in-ad clicks, and those are distractions for your kids. So use these resources as much as you can to keep your kids focused on your learning.
And one nice thing about the Gale databases, especially for 612, 610, like Brian said, they're right in Schoology. Right on the left in every Schoology course, there are direct links to the Gale databases. So students don't even have to leave the Schoology course to access all that amazing information.
And if there's any if there's any Sora passages, any Sora books, anything ebooks you want them to read, those are permanent links. So you can link those right into Schoology or Google Classroom and have that. Do it that way. If you see like interest in your dialogue journals, you're like, hey, I just read this book and student might really like this. You can send them the Sora link for that book too.
Awesome. So hopefully, thank you to the team for all that great learning. Hopefully you all found something you can engage with and use in your own classrooms. We just want to do a quick whip around, share out for anyone that would like to share how they're incorporating this learning into their classroom, or how you imagine you will do that next week and beyond.
So why don't you use the raise hand button down at the bottom of your Meet screen if you have an idea that you want to share or something that stood out to you, an aha. And we'll take a look at those. All right. JJ, what do you have?
Hey, yeah, I was looking at some of how you guys have the dialogue set up. I teach creative writing over here at Easton. We do a lot of work with collaborative composition of plays, but also collaborative like workshopping, where you go in and you can add comments and have sort of a dialogue, but more in the comments section, not in the main text of it. And I really like that video thing. Another thing I use is Screencastify. I've been using that since COVID, so I give the students video feedback on their writing, because a lot of my students are visual and audio learners, and so they can take the feedback about their writing and understand a little bit better if I'm verbalizing it rather than them trying to process my writing about their writing. So anyway, yeah.
Nice, thank you.
Jen had a comment. Jen, thank you for your comment in the text there. She likes the running journal idea for upper elementary grades. Again, I'm hearing, especially at the elementary level, we got kids to write more. And when sometimes I know every kid has a Chromebook, but sometimes just the traditional handwriting skills are going by the wayside, and a dialogue journal can help you get that to be a regular practice in your classroom.
Let's see, where do you see those hands, man?
Does anybody currently use any of the DPS database or library resources in their curriculum? Want to share what parts they use or what they use it for? Just curious.
We use a lot of the online databases such as Sora, PebbleGo. We also, that isn't a DPS database, but we use Epic, which is also like an online free source for students to access different mediums of materials, whether it's books or videos as well.
Thanks, Meredith. Susie, did you have a thought to share?
Yes, I use the databases a lot. I actually enjoyed Gale last year for my third graders. We did endangered animals, and they had some great articles that actually I showed the kids how they could it would read to you, and they could highlight text for their note taking.
Nice.
Thanks.
Okay, we gotta go back to the main room.
All right, so our time up is here. Our time here is up in our breakout room. Thank you all for participating and learning with us. And we're gonna hop back to the other meet. Next slide. Okay. Oh, next slide. Thank you, Brian. And here, there we go. There's the meet link for the room we were in initially before we broke out into this one. We will also throw this into the chat. Thank you, Felicia.
I'm gonna close this meeting room for all, so then grab that link there and you can join everybody who we started with at the front at 1 o'clock.
All right, and it's also in the chat.
Okay.
Okay.
It's in the chat. Thank you. Get there.